أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين ولا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين وحجته في العالمين الروح وأرواح العالمين لتراب مقدمه فداء واللعن الدائم على أعدائهم وغاصبي حقوقهم وجاحدي مناقبهم ومنكري فضائلهم من الآن إلى أبد الآبدين. My very respected viewers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. May Allah bless you and may Allah keep you well. I pray for your health and for your prosperity and for your peace, and beseech Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us devotion and love and affection and loyalty towards Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. And may Allah grant us the intercession of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam and their love and their kindness and their help in dunya and the hereafter. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Arhamar Rahimin, Ya Arhamar Rahimin, Ya Arhamar Rahimin. Ya Mahmud bihaqq Muhammad wa Ya Ali bihaqq Ali wa Ya Fatir as-samawati wal ardina bihaqq Fatimah az-Zahra wa Ya Muhsin bihaqq al-Hasan wa Ya Qadim al-Ihsan bihaqq al-Husayn nas'aluka wa nuqsimuk صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل لوليك الفرج اللهم عجل لوليك الفرج اللهم عجل لوليك الفرج اللهم عجل لوليك الفرج اللهم عجل لوليك الفرج اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. So the war is over. I had scheduled this show when the war was going on, and I'm very happy and glad the war is over. The war, we can't really say over. There's a ceasefire. There's a peace has not been declared, so there's a difference between peace and ceasefire. And I don't think there truly can be a peace in the Middle East between the current Iranian regime and the Israeli regime. But a ceasefire is better than war, because the severe bombardment in Iran was a cause of concern and a cause of discomfort for our brethren of Iman, our brethren in faith, our Shia brethren who live in Iran. And we love Iran, and we love the people of Iran, and we love the mu'mineen in Iran. And that is because it's the abode of Shiism, and it's a Shia country, and we identify as Shia. And in this program, inshallah tabaraka wa ta'ala, I'll speak from the perspective of Hadith of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salatu was-salam, as I have seen them and as I've read them, that are related to this matter, the matter of war between Iran and Israel and the West and the United States and Europe. Not from the perspective of a Muslim nationalist, not from the perspective of a person who is overwhelmed by euphoria and rapture that this perceived ceasefire that's perceived as a victory for Iran would bring forth. So this, my perspective, of course, may not be popular, because not always the perspective of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salatu was-salam have been popular with Muslims or with Shia. That's not to say that I represent Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salatu was-salam, but that is because what I present to you are ahadith of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam and their sayings. So, what was the position of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam in the wars between Muslims and non-Muslims? During the reign of the Khulafa, whether they be the first three caliph or they be the Bani Umayyah or Bani Abbas, that gives us a good idea what should our position should be with regard to the war between Iran and the government of Iran and regime of Iran and Israel. Of course, from the time that Khilafah in Imamah was taken away And the seat of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was usurped and stolen. And an illegitimate khilafah by Abu Bakr was declared. From that time on, there were wars, there were battles, there were conquests between Muslims and non-Muslims, and especially between Muslims, Arabs on one side, and the Christian West on the other. The Eastern Roman Empire, the Byzantine Empire, represented Christianity and represented the West and Western nations. On the other hand, first Caliph Abu Bakr and then onwards, different caliphs, they represented Muslims. And there were constant battles and wars and skirmishes. Sometimes Muslims would lead armies into the non-Muslim areas, and sometimes Christians, Romans, would lead armies trying to occupy Muslim lands. What was the perspective of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salatu was-salam with regard to these wars? Some of these wars were defensive on the part of Muslims. Some of them were offensive. Did Ahlul Bayt alayhim, of course, from the perspective of general Muslims, always Muslims supported the caliphs against Christians, of course, because this was perceived as jihad, as a holy war. And Christians were, of course, non-Muslim, and they didn't believe in Islam, and their lands were supposed to be subjugated by Muslims, and their women taken as captives, and their properties looted. That was considered the legitimate thing to do. And whenever Muslims' armies marched to battle the Christian West, the Romans, and their seat at that time in the beginning was Syria, and then they were pushed back. Their seat was Constantinople, modern-day Turkey. Always what happened is these wars were very popular with Muslims. So whenever there was a Muslim victory, Muslims would be happy, they would be joyous, there would be poems recited for the honor and the bravery of those combatants from the Muslim side. And poems would be recited in the glory of the caliph, whoever he may be. And then Muslims, of course, thanked Allah and prayed. And they rejoiced, and they had festivities, and they had celebrations. And this happened all the time. All the time. And whenever there was an incursion, an offense by the Christians, by the Romans toward Muslim lands, and Muslims were able to defeat them or push them back or hold their grounds, of course, Muslims were very emotional. They were attached to their troops, to their caliph, to their governments, and they would pray that our troops would be victorious in pushing back the Christian West. And if Muslims were not defeated, of course, and then that will be declared a win for the Muslims, and they would be happy. Of course, again, there will be celebrations that we were not defeated and we were victorious in holding our grounds. And thanks to Allah, thanks to the caliphs, and all those things, right? So this happened time after time after time after time. From the time of Abu Bakr, there were major battles, major conquests. Syria fell to Muslims during the reign of Abu Bakr. Jerusalem fell to Muslims during the reign of Umar, at the hands of Khalid ibn Walid and Abu Ubaidah al-Jarrah and these folks. Egypt fell to Muslims at the time of Umar. Likewise, Persia, Iraq, at the Battle of Qadisiyah at the time of Umar, and other. And then when you come to time of Uthman, there were also battles between Muslims and non-Muslims. And Muawiyah led a naval raid towards Cyprus, and he captured Cyprus and looted Cyprus. And then after that, the Shahada of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam in the martyrdom of Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam, Muawiyah was able to stage a siege around Constantinople for 7 years, trying to capture Constantinople. And then this didn't stop for years onwards. So And decades, the following decades, the rule of Bani Marwan, and then the rule of Bani Abbas. Major battles were fought all the time. Some of these battles were defensive. So for popular Muslims, of course, these are matters of pride, right? For common Muslims in the Muslim world, or for common Arabs, this is a matter of pride. The conquest of Arabs, Arabs conquering North Africa, Arabs conquering Central Asia, Arabs conquering parts of Europe, Arabs marching towards India and China at that time. All these things were very popular at the time. Even today, Muslim nationalists, they take quite a pride in these conquests. That there was a time of glory for Muslims, and Muslim armies were unstoppable, right? And they were truly conquests. There were many victories. There were many lands that were captured, many kingdoms that fell to Muslims, and many cities were captured by Arab armies and their women taken as prisoner and distributed and raped by Muslims and taken back to Medina and Mecca or wherever. So this happened many a time. What was the position of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salatu wassalam? You have to understand, not all of these wars were offensive. Some of these wars, maybe a lot of them, were defensive. So I'm going to be brief with you. I'm not going to go into great detail. So this would be to you, those of you who follow Ahlul Bayt alayhim assalam, or submissive to Ahlul Bayt alayhim assalam. And this is quite a test. So Ahlul Bayt alayhim assalam and their Shia were a very small minority at the time. In those days, when Muslims, Arabs, engaged in euphoria, and they were thrilled with the joy of victory after victory after victory against Persia, against Syrians, against Romans, against Egyptians, capturing new lands. Shias did not share their joy. Ahlul Bayt alayhim assalam did not share their joy. In the eyes of Ahlul Bayt alayhim assalatu wassalam, these were wars for dunya. These were wars that were haram, forbidden. These were wars that no Shia was allowed to be a part of. And that is very important for you to understand. So the literature from Ahlul Bayt alayhim assalam, from your holy imams, if you follow the imams, there is no jihad except under the command of a ma'asum imam. There is no compromise, there's no leniency there. And there's no other form of war except jihad. You understand? So I'm very sorry if I do not share your sense of euphoria and I'm not thrilled with you. And of course, you can call me anything you want. I'm not with Israel. I share the same view as you, as most of you, as most of the people of the world towards Israel. What Israel is doing in Gaza and what is done in other places with Muslims throughout this history is very shameful. And I cannot find words to express my disgust towards the grotesque crimes of Israeli government after government after government with regard to Palestinians and Shias of Lebanon and other people. Likewise, at that time, you think, at the time of the holy imams alayhim assalam, when Persians attacked Muslim lands, or Daylamis attacked Muslim tribes, or Christian West, the Byzantines attacked, they had good character, you think? They did not slaughter tribes? They did not engage in massacres? Of course they did. Both sides did. Muslims would massacre any lands that they would capture a lot of times, not every time, a lot of times, if necessary, if not, sometimes not even if necessary, they would do it. And likewise, they would do it. The opposite side would do it. But the brutality of the enemy did not make these jihads legitimate. They were haram to be engaged in. You understand? But of course, what can I do? Shias have stopped following Ahlul Bayt alayhim assalam. Shias want jihad. Of course, they don't call it jihad, they call it resistance because, of course, jihad is haram, right? So they coined a new word, Shia scholars. A new word, resistance. What is resistance? Resistance is armed struggle. So armed struggle is jihad in Sharia. We don't have anything. There's no such thing as resistance in Islam. It's jihad. Why don't you call it jihad? Oh, we call it resistance. Why? Because if we call it jihad, then common Shias would realize that this is haram. So we coin a new word, resistance. Okay. Let me show you some ahadith from Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. So they enlighten our eyes, enlighten our hearts. This is the book of Sulaim, Kitabu Sulaim ibn Qais al-Hilali. This is hadith number 8. Aban ibn Abi Ayyash and Sulaim ibn Qais, he narrates from Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, that Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam in a lengthy hadith said the following. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam, the same day that he passed away, on that Monday, that he passed away, that he was martyred, he gave a sermon on that day. He was sick, he was ailing, he was in pain, but still, he gave a sermon. And in that sermon, he said the following, which he had said all previously also. Inni qad taraktu fikum amrayn. I'm dying, but I have a final message for you. For the generations of Muslims to come after me, for the generations of my ummah to come after me. The last apostle, your apostle, has a message for you. I'm dying, he says, but I'm leaving behind me 2 leaders, that if you follow them, لَن تَذِلُّوا مَا تَمَسَّكْتُمْ بِهِمَا. So long as you follow them, you will never ever go astray. You will never ever go astray. Kitab Allahi wa Ahl Bayt. The book of Allah and Ahlul Bayt. The book of Allah is Ahlul Bayt. Ahlul Bayt is the book of Allah. And for that reason, he said they will never separate from one another until they both meet me at the hawd, at the pond. Now, there are one Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam in Quran. That's a very detailed argument, and that's a very profound discussion for another time. But that is from an Islamic perspective, not as a nationalist, not as a Muslim intellectual. No, from the perspective of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. This hadith, which is mutawatir, the criteria that in every test, that in every tribulation, that at every junction in your life, when you have different options to go, and you are not sure exactly which path to follow, even if you're sure which path to follow, if you care to re-examine whether that path that you're determined to follow has been verified and authenticated by Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, this would be the criteria to go back to. This would be the criteria to go back to. That if Ahlul Bayt alayhim salatu wasalam's path, Ahlul Bayt alayhim salatu wasalam's way is the way that you're going, then it's correct. Please keep on going. Otherwise, turn around. Turn around. فَتَمَسَّكُوا بِهِمَا لَا تَذِلُّوا. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, ailing, in pain, in dying, in his last sermon, in the same day he died, follow them too. You will never go astray. Allah will be always pleased with you. لَا تُقَدِّمُوهُمْ فَتُهْلَكُوا. Do not get ahead of them, of Ahlul Bayt alayhim wasallam. If you do so, you will be punished by Allah. وَلَا تَخَلَّفُوا عَنْهُمْ فَتَفَرَّقُوا. And do not abandon them, that you would go different ways, in different sects. وَلَا تُعَلِّمُوهُمْ فَإِنَّهُمْ أَعْلَمُ مِنْكُمْ. And do not try to guide them, because they're more knowledgeable, more knowing than you are. Okay. In another hadith, Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wasalam says, إن الأمة ستفترق على 73 فرقة. Our master Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, the king of Iman, the king of Quran, the beloved of our hearts, says that this ummah will divide into 73 sects. 72 فرقة في النار وفرقة في الجنة. 72 sects will be condemned to fire of hell, and only one denomination, only one group, only one sect will be blessed with entry into paradise of Allah. و13 فرقة من 73 تنتحل محبتنا أهل البيت. 13 of these 73 sects will be claiming that they follow Ahl al-Bayt alayhim as-salam and they love Ahl al-Bayt alayhim as-salam. 13 of the 73. واحدة منها في الجنة و12 في النار. 12 of those who claim to follow Ahl al-Bayt alayhim as-salam are condemned to fire of hell, and only one will go to paradise. وأما الفرقة الناجية المهدية المؤملة المؤمنة المسلمة الموافقة المرشدة فهي المؤتمنة بي. That only sect, that only group, that only denomination that we be blessed with entry into paradise, which will be on the right path, is the one that follows me. And they are submissive to my commands. And they are submissive to the commands of the 11 imams who will come after me from my progeny. Only submission to Ahl al-Bayt alayhim as-salam. I'm not here to argue with Umaris. I'm not here to argue with many other audiences who will be watching my show today. I'm talking here to the Shia. To the Shia. And I'm trying to convince the Shia that the only criteria to follow is the kalam of Ahl al-Bayt alayhim as-salam, is the example of Ahl al-Bayt alayhim as-salam, is the standard of Ahl al-Bayt alayhim as-salam. That is the scale in which to measure the truth and the righteousness of any position. And in today's situation, perhaps tomorrow there'll be another war. In the coming days, in the coming weeks, in the coming years, perhaps there'll be more wars. Perhaps this ceasefire will be broken. What should be our position? What you should do? You should do what Ahl al-Bayt alayhim as-salam says. Any alim who tells you this or that, he should back, he should authenticate, he should convince you that that is the position of Ahl al-Bayt alayhim as-salatu was-salam. Not on nationalistic grounds, not on the grounds that Israel is bad, Israel is bad, Israel is bad, therefore Iran is good. No. Israel could be bad, and its enemies could be bad too. It doesn't mean if Israel is good, is bad and evil, anybody who is opposing Israel, he's an angel. No, that's not the case. That's not the case. We have to, the criteria would be Ahl al-Bayt alayhim as-salat. Israel bad, America bad is not good enough. Okay. In the ahadith of Ahl al-Bayt alayhim as-salam. So there's quite a deviation in the Shia. Shias are only Shia, the majority of Shia are only Shia by name, even Shia scholars. This is very important, and this is very, not only important, but very painful, very tragic. That if when we look at what is the position of Ahl al-Bayt alayhim as-salam with regard to its questions such as jihad, such as revolution, Islamic government, and we look at the position of Shia scholars, right? A difference of day and night. And the important thing is when you ask Shia ulama, let's see, We are questioning your position. We are questioning your leadership. We're questioning the fact that you claim that these steps that you're taking, such as Islamic resistance and Islamic government and Wilayat al-Faqih and revolution in these things, we want to question them whether they are truly Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam's instructions, and whether Ahlul Bayt alayhim salatu wasalam's teachings do support your position. They never, ever are ready to discuss with you. They just brush you aside as an agent. No matter how scholarly learned you are, even if you're a marja, you would be either assassinated or put in jail or restricted in a house arrest in silence forever. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? So, the sole spokesperson for Shiism are who? Only one side. People who believe in Wilayat al-Faqih, people who believe in the revolution, people who believe in this something called Islamic resistance, and they're never willing to engage in any discussion. And anybody who opposes it either, even if, no matter how learned he is, according to their own method of learning in the Hawza, even if he's a marja, kill them or put him into prison. Or if that's not possible to kill him or put him in prison, just label him as an agent. When did Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam allow you to do a revolution against the government? Never. Never. Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam time and again have asked their Shia to not engage in any uprising against any government, no matter how oppressive that government is. And withhold yourself and preserve your energy for doing other good work. And wait for the coming of the Imam alayhi salam. When did Imam alayhi salam allow any sort of fighting, any sort of jihad? Except when the Imam alayhi salam comes. Never. At any rate, brother, this is وسائل الشيعة إلى تحصيل مسائل الشريعة لشيخنا الحر العاملي رحمه الله. Volume number 15. These are the sayings of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. Okay, very unpopular with the Shia. So Shias are only Shia by name. Their scholars are only Shia by name. They only use Ahlul Bayt alayhim salatu wasalam in people's affection and love for Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam for their own political gains. That's it. They never follow Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. A person who brings up these ahadith, these sayings of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salatu wasalam, he is branded as an enemy of Ahlul Bayt, an enemy of Shia, an agent of Israel, an agent of the West. Isn't that a tragedy? Subhanallah, what a game. What a dirty game. What's the difference? Tell me, Shia. What's the difference between you ulama and Muawiyah? What is the difference between you ulama and Amr ibn al-As? تفصيل وسائل الشيعة إلى تحصيل مسائل الشريعة. Volume number 15. Rawi says, the narrator says, I said to Al-Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, is jihad under the command of someone who is not a ma'soom imam? Is jihad under the command of a person who is not a ma'soom imam equivalent to eating pork, eating a dead dog, drinking blood? Imam alayhi salam said, huwa kadhalika, huwa kadhalika. It is so, it is so. It's indeed haram as such, like eating pork, eating a dead dog, or drinking blood. How repulsive, how abundantly clear, manifestly clear haram is drinking blood and eating pork and eating a dead dog, right? Eating a dead carcass. Likewise is jihad under the command of someone who is not the 12th Imam alayhi salam. Now you tell me, Why Shia ulama don't use the word jihad? Taliban uses the word jihad. ISIS and these people, they use the terminology jihad. Shia scholars don't. Shia scholars say resistance. That's not a coincidence. That's not a coincidence. They know. Go to Shia fiqh. Go to Shia hadith. There's no such thing as muqawma al-Islami. There's no such thing. In Hanafi fiqh, Maliki fiqh, Shafi'i fiqh, Hanbali fiqh, and Shia fiqh. There's no Shia fiqh. It's a Shafi'i fiqh, but it's been made, it's been Shiaized. But even if you call it Shia fiqh, there's no such thing as muqawma al-Islami. Why? Why this game with you? Because they cannot use the term jihad. So they're the same thing, like people who want to drink wine, right? At the time of Caliph Omar, he loved alcohol. So what he would drink alcohol, but not call it khamr, not call it wine. Call it something else, right? Just change the name. Don't call it wine, give it to me. Give me some nabidh. Nabidh is alcoholic beverage. Give it to me. He drinks. Enjoys his drink. Right? But doesn't call it wine. Okay? Just so same thing Shia ulama played you for the last 40, 45, 50 years. Al-Imam al-Jawad alayhi salatu wasalam said, وَلَا أَعْلَمُ فِي هَذَا الزَّمَانِ جِهَادًا إِلَّا الْحَجَّ وَالْعُمْرَةَ وَالْجَوَارِ. So when Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam said that engaging in jihad under a non-masum commander is like eating pork, like eating a dead dog, like drinking blood. This was at the time. There were enormous amounts of jihads. Important battles were fought everywhere on all frontiers of the Islamic world. Conquests were continuous, and a lot of these battles were defensive. Imam alayhi salatu wasalam said in relation to all of them. Al-Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam says, وَلَا أَعْلَمُ فِي هَذَا الزَّمَانِ جِهَادًا إِلَّا الْحَجَّ وَالْعُمْرَةَ وَالْجِوَارِ. Jihad, what is your jihad today? There is no jihad. Your only jihad is Hajj, Umrah, and being nice to your neighbors, being kind to your neighbors. That's your jihad. Okay. So why? Some of you might question that why I oppose the Iranian government and why I oppose Khamenei, the hero. So for him, of course, he has every right to declare himself victorious, just like Israel has every right to, and they will do it. They declare themselves victorious, and President Trump will declare himself victorious. All the combatants after the ceasefire, I expect them to declare themselves victorious. But Khamenei, apparently, I think seemingly, has some merits in his claim because he survived. He survived an assault on his regime that his regime was supposed to be toppled. Although his regime has been bloodied, Iran has had a great loss. Nonetheless, it's the first time since the First Arab-Israeli War, 1948, and then 1956, 1967, 1973, 1982, occupation of southern Lebanon and expulsion of PLO from Beirut. All these wars, right? Israel was victorious. But this is the first, and never there was any destruction in Jerusalem or in Tel Aviv or in Haifa, any of these wars. This is the first time that Muslims are, of course, very, very angry at Israel because of what is going on in Gaza, right? And indeed, they're entitled to. if they're angry and they're unsympathetic towards Israel, of course I understand that, and I share those feelings with Muslims because of what Israel is doing towards people in Gaza. So at this time, at this juncture, Khamenei comes and gives a bloody nose to Israel. Although Khamenei's regime is bloodied more than Israel and has lost the nuclear facilities in Natanz and Fordo and all that, nonetheless, those things in the eyes of a lot of people does not matter. They do not matter. What matters is that Khamenei was not toppled and there was severe damage in Israel. And I cannot talk more about this because YouTube has a very, very intelligent AI. And if you talk too much about Israel, then you channel, especially if it's a religious channel. They don't care, I think, that much about podcasts in English that are not religious, but Muslim podcasts, they ban the channels very quickly. So there was a military censorship during the war in Israel. Is the only pictures that we got of destruction in Israel are of residential areas. But I think there was quite a bit of military destruction also in Israel. But they don't show that because of the censorship. And those of you who follow Arab and English media and news of the war, you should be aware of that. That's quite clear. So Khamenei gave Iranian forces gave a bloody nose to Israel. And it turned out that the Golden Dome is not foolproof. It works, but it doesn't work fully. It could be easily penetrated. So, of course, in that sense, Khamenei has won. And this Khamenei, who now would be hailed, of course, as a hero by many, not only in the Muslim world, but around the world. Why? Because people hate Israel so much for what's been doing in Gaza. So there's a genocide going in front of our eyes. Everybody sees that. So people of the world everywhere, all the countries, in the US, in Canada, in Europe, everybody hates what Israel is doing. So if somebody comes at this time and he gives a bloody nose to Israel, everybody loves that. And who comes as a hero? Khamenei. So of course, from this a nationalistic perspective, from a secular perspective, from this worldview, Khamenei would be a hero. I do not dispute that. And he will be declared by his followers as imam, as fatih, as conqueror. Although his conquests are paled in comparison to conquests of Umar and Abu Bakr and Uthman and Muawiyah and Bani Marwan. So just the fact that he survived and a few of his rockets and missiles reached Israel, okay, it'll be hell. He will be hailed as a hero. I have no questions about that. Israel could claim that, okay, we killed so many of Iranian generals and we did so much destruction in Iran and we blew up their Ministry of Defense and their police headquarters. And so all of that, they will also claim victory. On the other hand, President Trump will say, oh, I did something that Bush couldn't do, Obama couldn't do, Biden couldn't do. And that is, I destroyed Iranian nuclear sites. And then I brought peace. I'm a man of peace. So every side could claim victory. But Muslims, of course, will pay attention to Khamenei, and Khamenei would be held in great regard in Muslim lands and beyond by all those people who are opposed to Israel. And I understand that. But why? I do not share this jubilation. I do not view him as a hero. Because it's not for personal reasons. It's not for political reasons. It is for religious reasons. I'm a follower of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. This man is a fraud. He claims to have the same authority as the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And he thinks that anyone who supports him is supporting Islam. He represents Allah. He represents the creator of the universe. Opposition to him and criticizing him and not bowing to him is not bowing to God. And if any Shia dare do that, Mark Barzit Wilayat Faqih, he's against Wilayat Faqih and he needs to be put to death. That is why. And anybody who supports him, no matter how corrupt, how criminal he is, of course, they're regarded as great people. They are admired. They're heroes for the Islamic Republic. So that is the reason. And for the past 45 years since the founding of the Islamic Republic of Iran, since the revolution was victorious, that has been always their position. So for me, Khamenei represents evil. And he's based on, he does not represent God. He's not a representative of the 12th Imam alayhi salam. The 12th Imam alayhi salatu wasalam never appointed him as his vicegerent. And he, as a matter of fact, he has never served the madhab of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salatu wasalam. He's alien to madhab of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. So claiming to have the same authority as the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and he personifies Islam in weakening him and speaking against him, is weakening Islam and speaking against Islam, and the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam legitimizes him, gives him the legitimacy, gives him the right to do whatever he wants with any person who opposes him. So to me, he's another Stalin. He's another Kim Jong-un. He's another Muawiyah. So, just like at the time of the holy imams alayhim salam, what did the majority of Muslims do when Ma'amun, the murderer of Al-Imam al-Rida alayhi salatu wasalam, would lead an army to battle the Byzantinians, the Christian West? What would Muslims do? Everybody would pray for him. And in every pulpit throughout the Muslim world, they would mention him by name in the beginning of the khutbah, in the middle of the khutbah, at the end of the khutbah. And they would praise him, and Muslims would be praying for his safety, for his success, for his quick victory against the Romans. When Khalid ibn Walid was fighting the Romans in Syria, what did Muslims do? Common Muslims, they prayed for Khalid ibn Walid, of course. They prayed for him. And when Khalid captured Syria, what did Muslims do? Muslims would take pride in Abu Bakr, and they forgot. They quickly forgot, because victory makes leaders very popular. Muslims forgot that Abu Bakr is the same person who murdered Fatima al-Zahra salamullah. And Muslims rejoice, oh, we captured Damascus, the apple of the eye of the West, right? The apple of the eye of Christianity. When Jerusalem fell and Umar ibn Khattab went there, what happened? He was hailed as a hero, right? The holy imams alayhim salam, were they also partners in this joy? Of course not. Of course not. In their eyes, all these wars were wars between kufr and kufr. And one kufr was more severe than the other kufr, and that was the Muslim side. Of course. Of course, and the battle between Khalid ibn Walid and the Byzantinians, who is worse? Of course, it's Khalid. Khalid is 1,000 times more evil than the Byzantinians. In the battle between Omar and the Persians, in the battle between Muawiyah and the Romans, who was worse? Of course, the Munafiq side was way worse than the Christian side. May Allah bless you, Allah keep you well. Now I'll take some of your calls. Okay, those of you who want to call me on WhatsApp, here is my WhatsApp number on the screen. And if you want to call, come and join here via Zoom. You can also come and join me via Zoom. And then I can also take your calls from TikTok. Okay, I just opened TikTok because I open TikTok only when I take calls. All right. So let's take Ali Ahmed. Wants to speak here. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Mr. Shaheen. I'll take Mr. Shaheen first. Mr. Shaheen, you want to talk? If you want to talk audio only, you're here. Where's my operator on TikTok? Yeah. Assalamu alaikum, Mr. Rizvi. How are you, sir?
Yes, I'm good. How are you?
Alhamdulillah. Where are you calling from?
Calling from Maryland.
Where? Miramar?
Maryland?
Maryland. All right.
Maryland.
God bless you.
Yeah.
Allah bless you.
You too.
Yeah.
You too, buddy.
Okay. Go ahead. What can I do for you? What's happening?
Oh, I'm just watching the live show of Qibla Hassan Allahyari, and I have a question for him that I wanted to ask.
I'm Hassan Allahyari. Go ahead. You're talking to me. What's happening?
I am. Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't recognize your voice.
Sure.
So, I've been listening to what you have to say, and it does make a lot of sense. But at the same time, at this point, what should one, as a Muslim country, what should have been a proper response from Iran?
Oh, they're not. They don't care about Sharia. So if you tell them what Sharia says Muslim country do, they don't care about Islam. They would do whatever their own personal interest and their own Ikhwani ideology, Sunni ideology, Zaydi ideology of jihad. That dictates. If you tell them that this is not permissible, there's no jihad in Islam, of course they don't agree with that. But if what would be in the best interest of Iran to do, my advice would be to serve Shiism, like the kings who were before us, right? Do not claim that you have a legitimacy from Allah, that you represent God, that you represent the Ahlul Bayt, you are the deputy of the 12th Imam alayhi salam. Don't make these foolish claims. You are just a ruler, okay? So
Right.
that'll be first. Second, serve Shias and serve Shiism. Do not engage in battles and wars that you cannot win, that would harm your country. Be like Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia has made great progress in finance, in technology, in education, and they have served their religion and their co-religionists. They have served Salafis and Salafism throughout the world. So that would be my advice. What should they do? They should do that. Yeah.
Because the narrative right now, what I see is they're basically saying that Iran is the only country, and then the Shias are being glorified. I'm a Shia myself, but obviously, I'm not a Taqlidi Shia, as you would call it. But at the same time, the narrative seems that we're the Shi'an Ali, and we're the ones who stood up to only just so-called everyone have their narrative. But then at the same time, Saudis, what they're doing is whatever is happening in Gaza, they're not doing anything for it, right? But on the other side, Iran is actually standing up and doing something. Again,
so
I'm not defending them, but
yeah, that's right. That's correct. I agree with you. I'm not sure Iran is really helped by organizing October 7th. Really, I'm not sure. It's really helped Gaza or harm Gaza. I'm not sure about that,
right.
but you're right that Saudis and Emiratis, they don't do anything for the Palestinians. I agree with you.
Right.
but it doesn't make
And
Khamenei a legitimate ruler of Shias.
no, no, of course not.
That's not the
Of course
criteria.
not. But
Okay? Yeah.
right, right, right. Yeah, and like what you said about Gaza and how if Iran was even involved in all of that, and at the same time the Israelis proper Muslim. So
I
I
don't
don't know
understand
why
what you're
Iran is.
saying.
I said the Israelis, most of them don't even consider us Shias as Muslims, right? So what does
Israelis
Iran
do.
have?
Israelis don't
Sorry, not
consider us as
Israelis,
Muslims.
Palestinians. Sorry,
Yeah, a lot of them.
Israelis.
A lot of them are like that. Not all of them. A lot of them are like that.
Right. So I'm not sure what Iran's interest is there to begin with.
So
I just want
because
to know your thoughts on it.
Iranian leaders, they are coming from a background of most of the people who were engaged in the revolution. They were leftists. They were pro-Soviet Union in the Cold War. Like Khamenei himself, he was
Hmm.
pro-Soviet Union before the Iranian Revolution. He was a leftist. He had communist tendencies. And then also, all of the Shia revolutionaries, they are influenced by the thoughts and teachings of Ikhwan al-Muslimin, Hassan al-Banna, Jamaluddin al-Afghani, and Sayyid al-Qutb. Especially Khamenei is greatly influenced by Sayyid Qutb. So for Sayyid Qutb, for Ikhwan al-Muslimin, Palestinian cause is the number one cause. So you have to go back to the 60s, 50s, even 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, when Ikhwan al-Muslimin literature was brought into Iran in Arabic and translated by people in the Hausa into revolutionary scholars into Farsi and disseminated and taught and studied. And they held meetings in support of Palestine against Israel from that time and against the Shah, because Shah was seen as pro-West, Shah was seen as pro-Israel. So from that time, people who brought the revolution, most of them were pro-Soviet Union and anti-Israel, anti-West. You understand? So Khamenei is coming from that
Right.
background. So it's a revolutionary ideology. It's not a Shia ideology. It's not in the interest of Shiaism, but they are coming from that background from the 60s and 70s. So and they are still following those policies.
That is, yeah, that makes
Okay?
sense. But just one last question, if you don't
Sure.
mind. I just want to get your perspective on it. So,
Yeah.
how should we have a proper governing structure at this point, right? Because
So you
imams
can
and
so you cannot have a government, Islamic government, because there are no teachings, there are no instructions, there are no laws
right,
from Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, neither in Shia books nor in Sunni books. How should the Islamic government be? There's nothing. There's an absolute vacuum of any teachings. So how can you make an Islamic government when you do not have any rules, any instructions, any guidance from Allah, from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, from Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, and how to structure the government, how its functions should be? So that we cannot have. That first thing we have to confess and admit. If anybody claims that we have, show me. Show me in Shia books, show me in Sunni books, show me in Quran. The rules of Islamic government. There are none. So you cannot have Islamic government. So what you can have? You can have a worldly government. You can have a secular government, and you should always be honest with the people. When you establish a government, do not claim that it's coming from Allah, because it's not coming from Allah. The only government that's going to come from Allah, that's the Imam Mahdi alayhi salam. All the other ones would be man-made. So which government is better? Any government that's going to serve Shiism and serve its people and protect their interests and brings the best education for their youth, makes progress and technology, and establishes good relations with other nations, so its nations they are not perceived as enemies and terrorists everywhere. That government would be the best.
right.
Okay?
No, yeah, absolutely. Just living in the West and living in the U.S., I feel like I have more freedom to do my religious practice here than I would have in Pakistan, India, or not India, I would say any Muslim country. So wouldn't that make sense that the Western government structure is, I guess, more um,
Of
more than
course, of course.
Islam, or
There are
for the
more. There are in many ways for Muslims, the West is a better place than Islamic countries. In many ways, not in every
right,
way. In many ways. In many ways. Yeah, I agree
right.
with you. Okay, thank you, brother. Let me take this brother
Thank you so
who is
much for
a
your
caller
time.
on
I
Zoom.
really appreciate
Thank you, brother.
it.
His username is Lake. Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Alaikum salam. How you doing, brother?
Hello,
Yes.
I'm good,
Assalamu alaikum.
sir. You must have recognized me.
Your face is familiar. I know you called before, but I don't remember you.
Yeah, it's been 2 years back. I called you on
Okay.
your Urdu channel.
Okay. Thank you for coming back.
And yeah, that's why when we didn't had a call from then when we talked for 2 or 3 times, I think.
Okay. Thank you. Now come to the point. What do you want to discuss today, brother?
So I want to discuss about the legitimacy of a Walayat al-Faqih. I read some doubtful passages from the Walayat al-Faqih government, the Walayat al-Mutlaq al-Faqih,
Yeah, absolutely. So
the
that's
absolute powers.
Wilayat al-Faqih that Khamenei claims and Khomeini claims that they have the same authority as the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the same authority as Imam Ali alayhi salam. So they can do anything. They can even make namaz haram. They can make your daily prayers haram. Here, Khamenei has the authority. If he says today if Salat al-Fajr is haram, it becomes haram. Really becomes haram. So that is their position. Same authority as Allah. In other words. So obedience to him is absolute, without question, unconditional, absolute, is due to Khamenei. And criticizing him is, of course, you're an enemy of Islam, enemy of Allah. Death to anyone who opposes Wilayat al-Faqih. You are subject to death. That's their ideology. That is Wilayat al-Faqih.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes. I've been reading some news, disturbing news in the Iranian news outlets, in which there are some oppressive measures in terms of oppressing girls and forcing them to do jobs like this.
Yeah, doing hijab. Yeah, the government. So I don't call that oppressive because I'm for hijab. I agree with hijab.
Yeah,
I'm not against that.
We are also.
I'm not against
also
that.
for hijab.
But yeah, I'm for hijab, and if it's for everyone, it's obligatory to do amr bil ma'ruf wa nahy al munkar. If a government does amr bil ma'ruf nahy al munkar, I support that. However, Khamenei has failed because of the corruption. People do not, women, no. People now disdain, a lot of people disdain Islam. They've become atheists because of Khamenei and his government. So look, there are governments like if you go to UAE, in many parts of UAE, hijab is a requirement, like Sharqa and some of the Emirates. In Saudi Arabia, hijab. Over there, you don't see any defiance against those kind of calls, those regulations. But in Iran, you see defiance. What is the reason? The reason is that those governments, they do not claim to be representative of God and obedience to him, that they represent the 12 Imam or the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. May Allah bless you. Allah keep you well, brother. Thank you. Let me take this call. Caller, assalamu alaikum. Phone caller, go ahead.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam, brother. Who is the caller?
My name is Hussein.
What's happening, Hussein?
I'm calling from the United States. So basically, I just had a question. So I see a lot of like Wahhabis on Twitter, like they kind of support regime change in Iran because they really don't want like Shias having their own state to like protect themselves in a way. And they kind of like support. Like I don't know, I just see them like troll a lot, like bring up like the Wahhabi attack on Karbala and saying like.
I don't know what you're saying, brother. I don't follow you. Sorry, I don't understand what you're saying. Beyond me, okay?
Well, the way that
I don't comprehend what you're saying.
The reason why I bring it up is because wait, you hear what I'm saying or no?
I hear, but I don't understand what you're saying. Can you repeat what you're saying?
Yeah. So basically, I see a lot of Wahhabis on Twitter. They support like regime change in Iran, and one of the reasons why I support it is because I think that it provides like Shias and like their own state to protect themselves. That's the reason why I support it.
So, yeah, Iran is a place where Shias live. That's correct. And Islamic Republic did not create that. That was before Khamenei and before Khomeini. Shias lived there, and Shias are the country way before that. Okay, way before Khamenei and Khomeini. So it's not the Khomeini's leadership or Khamenei's leadership that gave Shias a country. That place existed way before Khamenei and Khomeini. All right?
I think the alternative to like Islamic government, though, like the Shah and everything like that, it's too anti-Islamic in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm not saying that Shah's government was legitimate and Shah was an angel. I'm not saying that. Shah was indeed had many faults. There are so many bad things about the Shah. But that does not make Khamenei and Khomeini good leaders. You understand? Now, it's another question if you compare these two evils, Khamenei and the Shah, which one is worse? That's a historical study. And that's not my topic, but that is not a good argument. Because Shah is bad, Khamenei is good. No, that doesn't work. Khamenei, we have to judge Khamenei and Khomeini and Israel and United States and President Trump on the merits of their own actions and their own positions, what they do and the policies they pursue. Okay? Not because somebody else is bad, so they must be good.
But I think the only plausible alternative to Islamic government is the Shah, and I don't want like a lot of Shias don't. That's the reason why they support Khamenei, even though he's bad.
Yeah. I'm not suggesting. I'm not promoting here that the Islamic government of Iran should fall. That's not my. And I've never called people to rise up against Khamenei, Iranian government. I've never do that because that's forbidden in Shia madhab. Even if the Shah was there, I would still say the same thing. I wouldn't call for his downfall. And I wouldn't call for an uprising against him. So I'm not saying that Shia should rise up and replace Khamenei. No. Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam have not taught us that. However, we are within our rights to judge Khamenei by the policies he has pursued and by the views he holds and what he is forcing Shia, which kind of ideology he's forcing into Shia madhab.
So I guess my final question to you, and then I'm off, is if you had like as Shias, if we had to pick between one of the two evils, what do you pick? Because I don't really see a feasible alternative than what we have right now. Like the IRGC kind of controls all of Iran, and the alternative is the Shah, which is openly Islamic.
The alternative is Khamenei should do better. Iranian government should do better. Should stop claiming that he represents God. That's not a lot to ask him. That opposing him, anybody who opposes him is opposing Allah. You should start with that. Start there. That you do not represent Allah. That you are just a common man like anybody else. And we have every right to ask you questions. And he should be held questionable for his deeds. Okay? And if he says that Iran should follow this path, or Shia should follow this path, we should ask him. As a Shia scholar that you're wearing the turban, what's your justification from Quran and Sunnah? So that we can start from there. All right? May Allah bless you. Okay. I have a caller here, brother Haidar. Muhammad Haidar. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum. How are you, brother?
Not bad. Thank you. How are you? May Allah bless you.
I'm very well. Alhamdulillah. I'm here in New Jersey, brother. And looking at everything going on in Middle East, I have some questions. Thank you very much for taking me on the call, brother.
My pleasure.
And the first question, developing a nuclear weapons for Iran. Do you think it is allowed in the Sharia?
So as I mentioned, that's very important to understand. In Shia Islam, before the rise of the Imam alayhi salam, before the coming of the Imam alayhi salam, Shias are strictly forbidden not to rise up against a standing government. That is the teaching of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. That is the life of our imams alayhim salam. Imam Ali alayhi salam did not rise up against Abu Bakr and Omar and Imam Hassan alayhi salam and Imam Hussein alayhi salam. He did not rise up against Yazid. This I've done a whole series on that in Urdu. If you follow that this is an Omari interpretation of the events of Karbala. That Yazid was very bad. Imam Hussein alayhi salam wanted to topple him. Before him, Muawiyah was acceptable. Uthman was acceptable. Omar was acceptable. Abu Bakr, there was no revolution against them, but against Yazid there was a revolution. So that is an Omari interpretation of events of Karbala that Shia scholars have popularized in the Shia world. Imam Hussein alayhi salam did not rise up, and he sought peace with Yazid and the Umayyad army, but he was denied. And Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam, all the way to the 11th Imam alayhi salam, the Imams alayhi salatu wasalam have instructed their Shias to do other things, to engage in business, to engage in commerce, in agriculture, in education, and establishing charities and being charitable to their neighbors and to their other citizens within their lands. And the most important thing that Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam instructed their Shia is to revive and spread the teachings of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, the madhab of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. That is our duty. So there's no instruction to make a rise. And there's no instruction to make there's no Islamic government. Right. So there's no, how can you, let's say, if I pray 2 rak'ah namaz, if I want to make wuzu, Islamic wuzu, what's an Islamic wuzu? So there has to be instruction from Allah, right. Rasul, Imams alayhim salam. If you are Shia, if you are not Shia, then from Allah and Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. There has to be instruction how to make wuzu. I can't just, if there was no instruction from Allah and Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, how could I make wuzu? No, I couldn't make any wuzu. Yeah. There wouldn't be any wuzu in Islam. Likewise, there are no laws, no rules, nothing with regard to government. Neither in Shia books, neither in Umari books.
I'm sorry.
Hold on.
When it comes to
so you cannot have government. So you cannot have a government. Well, now you ask about nuclear weapons. These things can be developed only by governments. So since you do not have any government, you do not have an Islamic government. So the question is not relevant. Now, all these governments, they do not care about Islam. They do whatever that serves their interests better. If Saudi Arabia thought tomorrow that they can make a nuclear bomb and get away with it, probably they will do it. They will do it.
Yeah.
Many governments, if they thought that, they don't care about Islam. You have to realize these governments, they do not follow Sharia. Khamenei does not follow Sharia. He does not follow Hadith of Ahlul Bayt. What's halal and haram? He will do whatever is good for him. So the question whether it's halal or haram, the whole thing is haram from the beginning. All these governments are taghut. Not the only government that will be legitimate and that will be just, and we must give our lives for is when Jesus comes, when Imam Mahdi alayhi salam comes. That will be the only government. And they know what to do, which kind of weapons to use, and which way to follow. And they will be rulers at the time. So that's my question with regard to, yeah, please go ahead.
So, brother, when it comes to defending ourselves, as a Shia country, we have a Shia population in Iran. And the worst part of the whole scenario is that the Shias are getting killed.
Please go ahead, finish, yeah.
So when it comes to defending our Shias, how should the Shias around the world act to it? We should protest. We should do safe protests. We should not be loud. We should not be violent. But how are we supposed to react on it? And how is the government of Iran supposed to react? Because Israel, at this point in time, was the person who attacked Iran.
So I'll tell you, I gave a whole speech on the matter, right? This is not the first rodeo. This is not the first time Muslims are attacked. During the lives of Imam Ali alayhi salam, Muslim lands were constantly attacked. Yep. Sometimes Muslims would wage war against their neighbors. Their neighbors could be Indians, Hindus. Their neighbors in Central Asia, they could be pagan tribes of Central Asia, pagan rulers of Central Asia. And Caucasus, there were Armenians, there were Daylamis, these tribes, and their kings, they were not non-Muslims. And there was always wars. between the Muslims and them. And the Syrian side and the Turkish side, they were Byzantinians. They were Eastern Roman Empire, very powerful. So there were always wars. What did Imams alayhi salam tell the Shias to do? Did they ever allow the Shias to go because Muslim lands are attacked? So the question is very clear. From the perspective of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salatu wasalam, this is not your fight. The only fight that is your fight when someone comes and he wants to commit a genocide. If an army is coming to kill everybody, for instance, let's say we are in the 5th century or not 5th, but 12th century.
Right, yeah.
Crusaders' army is coming. And they are going to wipe out our village. They want to kill everybody in our village. And there's no truce possible with them. Or they're going to force you to convert to Christianity, right? The only way to live, to remain alive. At that time, you're allowed, by whatever means, to push them back. When a genocide, killing everybody, is involved, or when there is a question, a harm that Islam totally would be eradicated. So there's an enemy so powerful that they want to kill every Muslim on the world. At that time, yes, only not to go and destroy them all the way. No, only so much that they would be hopeless. The enemy would realize, they would be deterred. They would be realized that, oh no, I cannot commit this genocide and I cannot eradicate Islam. At that time, only that much defensive jihad is allowed. Other than that, it's not allowed in Sharia of Islam, in Sharia of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salatu wasalam. There's no jihad. So, yeah, what should Iran do? Iranian government, of course, they don't follow Sharia. If I were in their place, I would advise them that you should not make enemies. You should not. Look, this war that happened, you're right. Israel attacked Iran. Iran did not attack Israel. Israel is clear the aggressor. But go back 30 years, 40 years. It's Iran has been all these 40 years. Khamenei himself said in one of his speeches that we have created a ring of fire around Israel.
Yes, sir.
Israel did not initiate this. Israel, this battle, this war, Israel started. But the war of attrition against Israel is Iran has started it. Iran, Qasem Soleimani, he would take pride, because I know Farsi and I can listen to their speeches. He would say that we have created 6 armies fighting Israel. What were those 6 armies? Hamas, Hezbollah, Islamic Jihad, and groups like that, militias like that. So of course, and Israel, I'm not condoning Israel, but you should not expect Israel not to do anything. Israel is a ruthless government that is supported by the West, and West is very strong. The United States is very rich, technologically very advanced.
This is a power game now,
militarily very powerful, and Europe is also powerful. And also Russia has very good relationship with Israel. So if you are going to try to wipe out Israel, then you should be prepared to be hit back. That's very clear. And so if I were in place of Khamenei, I would advise, don't do this. Just be strong. Serve your own people. Serve Shiism. Serve Shia. That will make sure Shias in everywhere. They get the best education. For Shias of Pakistan, create universities, create scholarships. For Shias of Afghanistan, for Shias of Iraq, for Shias in the West.
Now, unfortunately, we don't
do these
that,
things. Do charity for the Shia. Support the Shia communities everywhere. That's what I would advise them. Yeah.
Unfortunately, we believe in the superpower stuff, superhuman stuff who's going to come and save the whole Shiasm. That's how we have been taught. I remember my childhood, I have been listening to Majalis, and they have been saying that Mushtahideen are great, and they have authority over us, and they compare them to the imams. How do we generate? I have a daughter, alhamdulillah, and her name is Zahra Haider, and I want her to get educated in Islamic studies. But when it comes to Islamic studies, we are already, given a route to direct houses. In Najaf, in Qom, they say that, just send them to the Hausa and they'll get the Islamic education, Agajan. So uh, how do we educate our generation in
Oh, that's
terms when
another
it comes
question
to
for
a hadith?
another day. Okay. May Allah bless you.
I'll
Allah
do
keep you
that.
well. Thank you so much. May Allah
Assalamu
keep you
alaikum.
well. Alaykum salam. Alaykum salam. Thank you. I have a caller from India on WhatsApp. Come on, caller. Assalamu alaikum. Hello. Yes.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sure.
Is this Hassan Allahyari, sir?
This is Hassan Allahyari indeed.
Hello, I have a question. That's why I called you.
Okay.
My name is Sayyid Falil. I'm from
Okay.
India.
All
Okay.
right.
So my question is, my English is not very good. I'm adjusting. Okay.
Okay. What can I do for you? What's your question?
Okay. Was Salman al-Muhammadi engaged in war with Umar's army, means Umar Khattab's army?
So no, he was. I've not seen any account that he fought under Omar. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
If he was a governor during the time of Omar, but that or Uthman, and that was with the permission of Imam Ali alayhi salam. So if the Imam allows you, that's fine, especially permission. All right. And there's
All
always
right.
permission to work for governments as long as you serve Shias. If you serve Shias, that is the only condition. That if you want to work for a government, any government it may be, you have to serve your Shia brethren. All right? Thank you, sir. May Allah bless you. All right, I have a caller, Ali. Assalamu alaikum. Zoom caller, Mr. Ali. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Where are you calling from, brother?
America.
Thank you for calling. What's happening?
I just had a couple of questions since
Sure.
I'm new to Shias.
Yeah.
First of all, I've noticed that there's different opinions regarding the status of the imams and the prophets, and I was wondering if the ulul azm are higher than the imams, or if the imams are higher than all of the prophets except for Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
It's the latter. It's the latter. Yeah.
Okay. And I was also wondering, as a new Shia, how do we know that the Zaydis and the Ismailis are incorrect and that we have the right line of imams?
So the hadith of 12 imams, that there will be 12 Khalifa, 12 imam after me, that's Bukhari, Muslim. That is in every book. And we have many, many ahadith from Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam, from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the names of the imams mentioned by name, the 12 imams. So, and the mu'jizat of our imams alayhim as-salam, and their ilm and their knowledge. So, and then if you look at the Zaydis, their imams, they were very corrupt people. A lot of them were. And they were just political leaders who just wanted government, who wanted to rule, and they led revolutions and waged wars. And most of the time they were defeated. And Zaydis are Hanafis in their fiqh. They don't have any fiqh. They do not. They pray. They do not have anything with regard to laws of daily life. They follow the Umaris, and then they do not have any aqidah. They are Mu'tazilis in their aqidah. With regard to Ismailis, just look at Agha Khan. Look who was his mother. Okay, the Agha Khan who died, and that's their imam. So when his father divorced his mother, Agha Khan, Prince Karim Agha Khan who died. His mother for many years lived unmarried with a Christian man. That was his mother. And his father in the 1940s, when he got married to his wife, they broke the record of alcohol consumption in one party. That was the wedding of Agha Khan's father. Agha Khan is born out of, the last Agha Khan was born out of that wedlock. All right?
Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you, sir. May Allah bless you. All right. I have a caller here. We have a TikTok caller there.
1 second, Alama. Give me 2 seconds, please.
Sure. Yes, brother. Phone callers, 647 area code. Go ahead, please.
Hey, assalamu alaikum.
Alaykum salam. Who's the caller?
Peace
My
be
name is
upon you.
Amjad.
Finally,
Yeah, go ahead. 647. What's your name?
My name is Amjad. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Amjad.
Okay. Nice to meet you. Nice to talk to you. I just had two quick
Sure.
questions. I wanted to get your opinion in regards to Khums.
Khums. That's not really my topic today, but make it brief. Okay? Go ahead.
Can you just give me any insight in regards
So
to
I have lectures on
exactly
Khums. Just watch my lectures on Khums, okay? I've talked quite a bit about Khums. All right?
No worries. Okay.
All right. May Allah bless you. All right. Who I have here? Caller from the UK. Come on.
Hello.
Yes, sir. What's your name? Alaykum salam. Okay, you have to get a better connection, okay? Because I cannot hear you.
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Get a better phone or a better connection.
Yeah, sure. Just a very quick question. The quick question is that when I was talking to one of these rabbis, they were saying that even Imam Ali allowed the second caliph to go on and wage a war, although he said his famous.
He allowed him to do what?
Imam Ali allowed the second caliph to go on a war. So how do you
No.
respond to that?
He advised him not to go to the battle himself because he would run away. Okay?
Yeah,
That's what happened.
But the rabbis say that in the Najul Balaga ceremony, Imam Ali is
Yes, Imam Ali alayhi salam says to Omar, do not go, because if you go and you run away, then the Muslim armies would be defeated, and the Persians, who were the superpower at the time, they would advance all the way to Medina, and they will massacre all Muslims, and Islam would be destroyed. So as I mentioned to you, that was not to allow jihad. The conquests were permissible, or jihad was permissible, but that was to save the very seed of Islam, the very core of Islam. Because if Persians at the time, who were Zoroastrians, and they were a huge army of hundreds of thousands, they had gathered in Iraq, if they had marched on to Medina because Omar has run away from the battle, then what would have happened? The result would be that Islam would be wiped out. Okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
All right. May Allah bless you. Allah bless you. Allah keep you well. I'm sorry I hung up before. I'd already hung up when you said that. All right. Here is Brother Murad. Assalamu alaikum.
Hello, Mr. Allahyari.
Yes, sir.
I'm calling you from Toronto.
Where are you calling from?
Toronto, Canada.
Sure.
I have been following you for years now. And obviously, I am an exiled Iranian living in Canada. As you know, Iranians living under oppression of Khamenei. All these talks that I heard from you. I mean, I'm not a practicing Shia, but I was totally disappointed. And, as an escapee from Iran, I never had a positive thoughts about Shia until I listened to you for, I think, almost 5-6 years. I make it short, and I admire you.
Thank you, sir.
Very much. And I remember many years ago, you were talking in Persian to one Iranian phone caller and saying that if the person is not offended, which you don't advocate rising up against Islamic regime, but one way that this regime could fall would be by foreign invasion. And today we see this war, and today we also notice that the Trump was the one who curbed the continuous war that could really to collapse of this regime. So basically, I wanted to inquire your opinion about that the only way that this regime would fall would be through the foreign invasion. And now
So
that
I
just
think
want to see,
Khamenei and Khomeini regime has been very successful to wipe out any meaningful opposition inside Iran. They control their security systems are very efficient, and through years of purging, they have been successful in eliminating anybody who would be a meaningful leader, who would attract followers, who would challenge Khamenei. There's no such thing. There's no opposition to the Islamic government inside. A lot of people do not like the Islamic government, but there's no organized opposition of the Islamic government inside Iran or in the neighboring countries. Because Khamenei has made sure that neighboring countries are also any person who would organize an opposition party in the neighboring countries, they do not have any refuge and they should be eliminated. And also in the West, the opposition to Khamenei in Islamic Republic of Iran is very disenfranchised and fragmented, and they do not have really any followers inside Iran. Even recently, you saw Crown Prince Reza Shah Pahlavi. Although he called for people to rise up, nobody listened to him in the recent attack of Israel against Iran. So of course, I don't see, especially if you went 10 years back. Now, Khamenei, as time goes on, his popularity decreases quite a bit. 20 years ago, Khamenei was way more popular, he had more legitimacy than he has today. 10 years ago, he had more legitimacy than today. But as time has went on, Khamenei has lost his legitimacy and his popularity within Iran quite a bit, except now. Now that this war has served Khamenei's purpose, just as Iran-Iraq war served Khomeini. Because war makes leaders popular. People rally again around their leader, again around their president or rahbar, and around their flag. So I think this attack by Israel has been quite beneficial for Khamenei and his regime, because people have forgotten about all their problems, about all the misdeeds of Khamenei, and they have become united. And also, because in times of emergency, governments could take quite drastic actions to purge their opposition. So I would not be surprised that Khamenei would use this threat from Israel to accuse a lot of people to being Israeli spies who are not Israeli spies, and purge them and send them to death or put them into prisons. So this war was bad for Iran, but good for Khamenei and his regime quite a bit. It gave them legitimacy. But if not for this war, Khamenei had lost his popularity. Could Khamenei's regime could fall without a foreign invasion? It's possible, and it may not fall without. We don't know. I don't know about the future. But if you went 20 years ago, no, Khamenei did not have any opposition. But 2 years ago, 90% of Iranians wanted Khamenei to fall. But now, after this war, it's a different story. So I don't know. But that's not really something I'm looking to up to for Khamenei's regime to fall. And I don't, because of the, if Khamenei goes away, if this regime falls, what's next? Who's going to replace him? That's a very important question. I don't think Khamenei's regime will fall without a fight. They will fight till the last blood, because Khamenei does not have any place to go, and his sons do not have any place to go. Just like Saddam, they did not. Okay, I'm going to answer this without you being on here. I can bring you back to participate if you would like to. So Khamenei and his followers, they will fight. A lot of his followers, they will fight until the end, because they don't have anywhere else to go. And if his government falls, if through foreign invasion or through domestic uprising, I don't know what will replace him. I'm not sure if there'll be any Iran at that time. I'm not sure, because there are a lot of people, a lot of forces that want to partition Iran. There are and when I look at the opposition groups of Khamenei, like Reza Pahlavi and the opposition based in Los Angeles and Europe. These are not very good people. They're not trustworthy people. I don't think Khamenei is worse than them. And I don't think they're better than Khamenei. So that's my position with regard to Khamenei's downfall. I don't want Iran to become another Syria. I don't want Iran to become another Libya. I don't want Iran to become another Afghanistan. I have no sympathy for Khamenei and his regime. But if this government falls, then a total breakdown of central authority in Iran is very likely. And that will be very ideal. People think, oh, Khamenei goes away and there will be elections. We'll elect a very good leader. That is idealistic, but unrealistic. I don't think that's quite likely to happen. Okay, I have a caller here from Iraq. Go ahead, brother. Caller?
Assalamu
Alaikum salam. Who's the caller?
How are you, Sheikh?
Do
you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Yes. My name is Ali. I'm calling from Iraq.
Okay, what's your name?
Ali.
Ali, what's happening?
I just got a couple of questions. Like, in this situation, like this war between Iran and Israel, who should we stand with?
So if you follow Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salatu was-salam, who do you follow? Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam or your nationalistic tendencies?
No, of course, Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam is over any nationality.
So the same thing that if you were at the time and there were war between Muslims and Christians, Muslims or Hindus, who would you stand with? Same thing. Okay? Just stay home. Don't take sides. So if you watch my speech from the beginning, so we have the example of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. All those wars that were fought between Muslims and non-Muslims from the time of Umar and Abu Bakr, right? At the time of Abu Bakr, the first major battle between Muslims and the Romans was the battle of there's a locality in Syria, Al-Ajdalain, I think it's called.
Yes.
And then the fall of Damascus, and Syria was captured. In those battles, where were the imams alayhim salam stood? In the eyes of the imams alayhim salam, these Muslims were worse than those Christians they fought. That's very unpopular today. That's very unpopular, right? That, yes. Well, we should stand with Muslims and this is the banner of Islam. But we no. We do not, we support neither one. We support neither one.
So
because Israel is bad, it doesn't make Khamenei good that I should support him. You understand?
That would concern me, yes.
Yeah.
You've mentioned something that I didn't really understand. Like, is it protesting against the ruler or rising against the ruler is forbidden in Islam, even if he was like not good and just
absolutely. So I have lectures here on my channel. You can go there. Okay, you can watch many of them.
Like Saddam Hussein. He was executing people randomly.
Yeah.
Like if people have enough force to rise against him, is that forbidden?
Well, of course, in the madhab of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salatu wasalam, that would be forbidden, of course. And then he would persecute even more. And you experienced that in 1991, didn't you? Right? You rose up.
So
people of southern Iraq rose up against Saddam in year 1991. Why? Because George Bush asked them to. And then what happened? Massacre after massacre after massacre. Didn't that happen? Imams alayhim salam have warned us that if you rise up against a sitting ruler, what will follow is worse. And it will, even if your intentions are pure, even if you want to revive a haqq, even if you want to put down a batil, something bad, if you want to put down a wrong thing, if you want to put down an injustice, still rising up against sitting rulers is forbidden, even if your intentions are that. Because what will happen, what will follow, it would be worse for the Shia. So Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salatu wasalam have forbidden their Shias until the coming of the Imam Mahdi alayhi salam to rise up against any rulers. Mansur al-Dawaniqi, it was worse than Saddam. Mansur would bury people inside walls, throw them into wells, one after the other. The whole families, uncles, nephews, grandfather, son, throw them into the well, or bury them into walls and build walls around them while they were alive and breathing. Did the Imams alayhim salam call for any uprising against them? This was at the time of Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salatu would forbid his Shia and the people of Medina, anybody who would listen to him, his relatives, to rise up against Saddam. And people would ridicule him. That you have so much knowledge, but and you don't believe in jihad. Which kind of an Imam are you?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So that is one of the core principles of Shia, and upheld by Shias throughout centuries until recently, when Shia ulama sold themselves to Ikhwani ideology, not to rise up, not to make revolutions.
Yes. You've mentioned that Imam Ali alayhi salam is like told Umar to not attack Persians like at that time.
No. That's not what it says. Omar,
yes.
Persians had gathered a big army in Iraq to attack Medina. And Omar said, I want to go there. And the other Sahaba said, yes, please go. Lead the army yourself. Imam Ali said, don't go. If you go, you would run away. And then the army will be dispersed. And nobody will be there to stop the Persians until Medina. And Persians will massacre and commit genocide and wipe out Islam totally. That's what happened. Okay?
So in the case of Israel, they announced many times that they want to expand their land to include like Iraq and part of Saudi Arabia. And
let other people. Jihad is allowed in their madhab. Let them fight them. Okay?
So if they
even at the times of the Imams alayhim salam, at the time of the holy Imams alayhim salam, the Romans always wanted to conquer Muslim lands. Didn't they? At the time of Imam al-Rida alayhi salam, the Romans wanted to defeat Muslims. There were many battles all the time during the life of Imam Jawad alayhi salam. Imam al-Hadi alayhi salatu was salam. The rest of the Imam, during the time of Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam, Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam, did the Imams alayhi salam ask their Shias to go to jihad? Because Romans want to conquer Muslim lands? No, this is not the first war between a Western country. Like Israel is not a Western country, but it's a Western outpost in the Middle East. It's a military outpost that represents the might and the military power of the West. So this is not the first thing that's happened. It's happened throughout centuries. The Shia Imams, the Imams of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salatu wasalam, have said, be neutral. Just don't bother yourself in these wars and battles. They want to conquer, let them conquer.
So until they like come to Shia's regions, like let's say Najaf or Karbala.
Even if they come to in 1920, the British came to Iraq, right? Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know,
and that was stupid by Shia ulama to rise up against the British. Because before the British, who ruled there? The Uthmanis, the Umaris. So Shia ulama all of a sudden got the ghairah. Their honor was challenged that the British have come. So they started fighting the British. In defense of who? And this is your mujtahideen. That's their aql. That's the understanding of Islam. Oh, British are kafir. How could they come to Iraq? We are going to fight them. And they declared jihad and they were defeated. Before that, the Russians captured some Muslim areas from Iran and the Caucasus. Sayyid Muhammad Mujahid and many Shia scholars, they declared jihad against the Russians and they went to jihad and they were defeated soundly by the Russians. But at any rate, if British came in the 1920s in Iraq, they did. I think Shia scholars should have not done anything. Let them come. They're not worse than the Uthmanis. They had not come to commit genocide and massacre the Shias, the British. The British just came to push back the Uthmanis and reach the oil fields in Mosul. That's what they wanted. And so there was no reason for the Shia to fight them. But they wanted to fight the British. But eventually they were defeated. So that's the story. The only time that you are allowed to take up arms if somebody comes to commit genocide. So if there's a foreign power that's going to reach Iraq, and they say, okay, I don't like these Arab tribes living in Karbala, in Najaf. Let's depopulate this area. Yeah, let's kill everybody. And we are going to bring people from China or from the USA, or we're going to bring our own people to live here. This land is nice. We want to take over. At that time, you're allowed to fight back, if you can fight back. And if the enemy is so powerful that you cannot fight back, then hijrah, then go somewhere else, save your life. The other time that you're allowed to do jihad is a foreign power comes and he wants to forcefully convert the people. Say, okay, I want become Christian or become Hindu or become atheist. If you don't, I'll kill all of you. At that time, it's incumbent upon you to push him back. Okay? In these two cases, if a foreign power is coming, wants to conquer a Muslim land, and that foreign power, non-Muslim, they do not care about your religion. They are not going to commit genocide. They just want to, like the British came to Iraq in 1920s, right? They did not come to commit genocide. They did not come to kill all the Arabs, all the Shia. They just came to push back the Turkish empire from Iraq and capture the land, replace the government. At that time, there's no religious obligation to fight them. Let them take it. As a matter of fact, to me, British would have been much better than the Ottomanis. It would have, if British had ruled Iraq like they had ruled over India, I think Iraq today would have been had much better government, better services, better roads, and better education system. That would be nice for Iraqis, I think. Yeah.
So in the case of Palestinians people, like, do they have legitimate jihad because Israel has occupied their land illegally?
So they're not Shia, so they don't follow the path of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salatu was-salam. You understand that, right?
Yes,
so it's useless for me to advise them. Yeah, it's useless for me to advise them. And there are YouTube regulations that I cannot answer certain questions. Okay.
Oh, okay. But in the case like Shias were there, do they have the right to?
So there are things YouTube is very smart AI. So there are things that I cannot say here. Okay, but I think that what Israel is doing to Palestine is very bad. It's terrible. Okay.
Yes.
May Allah bless you. Allah keep you well. Okay.
So the last thing I want to tell you, Sheikh, you've quite a bit since you left the Arabic channel. Like, can you?
I'll come back. I'll come back. There's no problem. We'll resume Arabic lectures, inshallah, soon. Okay.
So
all right. You take care.
About atheism, like, since maybe 5 years ago, I was like following you. One of people like on Facebook ask you to make lectures about this, and you said yes, inshallah. And since that time,
that takes a lot of effort. Doing a series of lectures on atheism, that takes quite an effort. It's not easy because my lectures are not just my lectures are the final word, right? The final authority of research on any topic. So that takes a lot of effort, a lot of energy. And you should ask your maraja. Your maraja believe in Allah. So why don't they do the hawza? They ask them, right? You live in Iraq. Ask them to do an atheism. Well, they can do on taqleed. They can do series on taqleed, make everything about taqleed, right? Do about atheism too. Yalla, ma'a salama, habibi, ma'a salam. Take care. Take care, brother. May Allah bless you. Allah keep you. All right. Okay, only English-speaking callers, please. May Allah bless you. Allah keep you well. Let me go to TikTok. Do you have anybody at TikTok, brother? Abu Zar, are you there? Brother Abu Zar. Do you have any callers there? Decoder, do you want to speak? Let me take Decoder from Zoom. One moment, please. Decoder. Go ahead, Decoder. What's happening? Go ahead.
You able to hear me?
I can hear you. What's your name?
Perfect. Yali mother to everybody. I would call myself Decoder.
Honestly.
Probably some people know me. Some people know me very well.
Okay. Well, I don't know
It's
you.
just the situation because, thank you. It's just the situation because the political situation that we see today and what we are
Yeah.
witnessing, what is happening and going to happen in Iran is something which is going to change the face of South Asia, is what I see. However, with the Zionist regime and the way they have been playing, there is a bit of research that I was involved in, and I can see there are a couple of things that the Zionists have been after the blood of the Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's family. Hence is the reason in 1918 Balfour Agreement was done. Hence is the reason the particular region was broken down into
All right,
pieces.
I don't believe in conspiracy theories. May Allah bless you.
It's
Allah
not a
keep you well, okay?
conspiracy theory. I mean, hear me out.
All
Well,
right.
hear me out. Let me finish.
What
and
are they
then
going to
maybe-
do with the blood of the Sayyid? So
Sorry?
they want the blood of some Sayyid? Legitimate
No,
Sayyid?
not necessarily. No. That could Sayyid is a different story of the entire situation. However, following up from the Abbasids, there is a small bit of research on that as well, which has been happening on the hidden channels, where the imams were kept under a curtain in a way, if speaking as a decoding language, where they were not shown their real faces, and eventually,
Okay, may Allah bless you. Allah keep you well. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I don't follow you. I don't see. This is a very wild conspiracy theory, okay? May Allah keep you well. Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't see any evidence to that. Thank you. All right. TikTok, go ahead, please.
On 1 second.
Yeah.
We're having issues today.
No problem. Yeah, TikTok is giving us a lot of trouble. Let's go to India. India caller, go ahead. What's your name?
Sir, my name is Adil Hussain. I'm from Jammu and Kashmir.
Yes. Adil, what's happening?
Yeah, sir, as you said that the Imam Khamenei was not so much famous. So before, now because of war, he became famous, right?
No, he was famous, but within Iran and in the region and in the world. So he would be hailed by many people as victorious and a hero who was given Israel for the first time a bloody nose. And especially in the wake of what's happened in Gaza in the last 2 years. Because there's a lot of emotion against Israel because for Israel's actions in Gaza. So Muslims are enraged and furious about the massacre of innocent people in Gaza, and not only Muslims, but also non-Muslims. A lot of people in the United States, a lot of people in Europe, and throughout the world. So if somebody comes and gives Israel a bloody nose for the first time, okay, so of course, a lot of people will like that. They don't care that person is bad, evil. That doesn't matter. All they know is Israel is bad. Therefore, the person who punched Israel in the nose, he must be a hero. So definitely, that's going to happen. I think this war and the peace that Mr. Trump brokered has been served Khamenei in many ways. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, the world is like following him and accepting him as a rabbi. But does it mean that the whole world is going towards the ignorance?
Okay, man. I don't think the world is accepting as a rahbar. Okay, maybe you do. All right. Okay.
We have a caller on TikTok, sir.
TikTok, come on over. Who's there?
Malik, open your mic, brother. Open your mic.
Alaykum salam, Mr. Malik. How are you, sir?
Malik, open your mic.
Malik, come on.
Take the other caller, sir. I think we
Okay.
have issues.
Shafiqul Islam, come on, brother. Shafiqul Islam from Zoom. You want to talk? Hold on. Shafiqul Islam, I don't have your audio. Is your mic open?
Yes, sir. My mic is.
Okay, your mic is open. Go ahead. Start talking. What happened to you?
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. What's up?
I'm fine. How about you?
Good. Where are you calling from, Shafiq?
I'm from Bangladesh.
Bangladesh. What's happening?
Actually, it is my first time to.
Yeah, 416 area code. So, wait. Yeah. Yes, sir. Shafiqul Islam.
Yeah, so I've been watching your program for last few years, I would say. I mean, although in my country there are no, there are few Shia people out there in the capital. But I myself do research on different sects of Islam, and that is the reason I do have some queries regarding it, and I think that you would be the eligible one.
Okay, go ahead. Pose your question. Pose your question. What's your question? Go ahead.
Oh, all right. So my question, I have two questions. I mean, I have seen Shia people to make fake grapes during the Ashura, and they make dua to the dead person. I mean,
Okay, I
what's the
don't know about that.
concept
Okay,
behind
I
that?
don't know about that. Fake grapes?
I
I don't know
mean,
about fake grapes, brother. Never seen that.
I mean, symbolic grape of Imam Hussein, and then they pray to that.
Grave. Oh, grave. Oh, grave of Imam Hussein
Yeah,
alayhi salam. Hmm.
yeah.
So,
And the Juljala,
yeah. So these are not instructions from Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam that you have to make a grave of Ahlul Bayt, a symbolic grave of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, or symbolic Zuljina. This is just the love and devotions of followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. And love is something you do not understand if you do not have love in your heart. If you have been to Karbala as a Shia, if you go to Najaf as a Shia, if you just love Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam as a Shia, your perspective is different. Like, for instance, a person who doesn't have a son, he does not show the same kind of love to a boy that a father shows to his son, right? So for him, a father could take bullets for his son, give his life for it, without thinking. For such a person would perhaps a person who has never had a son, for him would be hard to imagine. So for you, it's hard to imagine because you do not love Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. You do not have the love of Imam Hussein alayhi salam in your heart. But we Shias love Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. We die for their names. So for us, anything to remember them. Like you, if you love your wife, you keep her picture in your phone, you keep her picture in your wallet. If you love your father, and your father has died, you put his picture in your house, right? This is not a religious instruction. This is just your respect, your love. Now I love Karbala. I love Imam Hussein alayhi salam. And Shias love them. And Shias love Imam Hussein perhaps more than I do. So for them, anything that reminds them of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, remembrance of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, that the grave of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam would have been like this. His horse would have been like this. So these are acts of devotion and love. And this is not a religious. We do not perform these acts as an instruction from Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam that these rituals are from Ahlul Bayt. These are local cultures that the love and admiration for Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam is expressed in different ways. Okay? So that is my response to you. And as far as dua to the dead person, so we do not worship and we do not do ibadah of a dead person. However, dead people are alive and they can hear you. We cannot hear them, but they can hear you. And saints that have passed away, they can perform miracles. Okay? Thank you, sir. Shafiqul Islam. May Allah bless you. All right.
I do have
okay? Thank you, sir. You're talking outside the topic of this program. Therefore, that'll be enough from you. Let me take this caller from WhatsApp. Area code 416. Go ahead, please.
Hello, assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Assalamu alaikum, brother. How are you?
I'm very good, Sheikh. I'm Shazman. I've spoken to you before, usually on Zoom, but today I decided WhatsApp.
Sure.
So, Sheikh, about the topic that we're talking about, I just had like one main point as a bit of discussion that I wanted to, sort of intellectually bounce an
Yeah.
idea. And also with the audience, I think it might be important as well. So, very emotionally charged topic for Shias these days. What I've seen is I myself, at one point in time, was a very revolutionary socialist person, and I very much, hated Israel. And with the Shia and being raised in a Shia family, that meant supporting Iran. And I think, and of course, we were never taught anything about Hadith of Ahlul Bayt alayhim Islam. It was just our assumption that people like Ham and I were working off of Hadith, which we could never understand or ever care to read. But Ham and I was somehow this genius person who was and he's not even a scholar, he's just a politician. But anyways, whatever. So this is what we used to believe. So one thing which I feel, and maybe some people in the audience might resonate with it, one thing which is beautiful about true tashayyu is that there is no success in any revolution or government or any such thing except that which will be done by the 12th Imam. And you cannot expect that Khamenei, because if we see Khamenei's attack on Israel and Israel's attack on Iran and all of this, these are factors which, like you pointed out very well earlier when you started off the discussion, these are not new things. Indeed, these are things like Romans and Muslim caliphate during the times of the imams alayhim salam. So I know that we have a lot of pent-up frustration to some of the effects of Western imperialism and this unregulated form of capitalism, but that does not mean that Khamenei is good and Khamenei's attacks are good and Khamenei is somehow following Ahadith of Ahlul Bayt alayhim Islam. Rather, Ahadith of Ahlul Bayt alayhim Islam make it very clear that government as a whole, unless that government which is done by a prophet or by a successor of a prophet, essentially a masum, other than that, that government is zulm. And right now we are in a stage where, inshallah, very soon, we will gather behind the revolution of the 12th Imam alayhi salam. Inshallah, very soon. So, yeah, that was just a small comment.
Thank you so much. May Allah bless you. Allah keep you well. Thank you, brother.
Bless you too, Sheikh.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for participation. You enlightened us. Thank you, sir. Okay, I had Hafiz here, but Hafiz has been disconnected. I really wanted to benefit from him. Yes, TikTok, go ahead. Who wants to speak on TikTok?
Kamar Bani Ashim. Brother, go ahead.
Amar, brother.
Take the other call. We have problems.
Yeah, no problem. Mr. Jawad, assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Yes, sir. How are you, brother?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good. Am I audible?
You are a little bit audible, yeah. Go ahead, please.
I'm actually want to ask you two things. The first thing is, since Israel came into existence, Iran is the only country which has given a befitting reply to all the wrong things which Israel has been doing since last few decades.
647, wait for your turn.
So
yes, brother.
Hi, Mr. Allahyari. Assalamu alaikum.
So,
Alaikum salam, brother. Just hold on there, okay? 647, area code 647. Wait there for me. Yeah, brother Jawad, go ahead. Finish.
The first thing I would like to ask you is, what is your take on this? That
yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. I agree with you. As I mentioned in my lecture, that there has been many battles between Israel since 1948 till today between Muslims or Arabs on the one side and Israel on the other side. And these battles mostly have been won by Israel. In this recent battle, it's hard to say who has won it, but every side can claim we have won. Khamenei can claim we have won because his regime did not fall. So for him, victory is not that he has conquered some area. No, he has not conquered anywhere. For him, victory is not that he has liberated people of Gaza. No. For him, the victory is just because his government survived. That his government did not collapse.
Yes.
That he's going to claim, just like 2007, when Israel attacked Lebanon and Hezbollah. Hezbollah at the end declared victory. What was your victory, Mr. Hassan Nasrallah? His victory was that they survived. So if you define victory as not being annihilated, yeah, indeed, Khamenei, and also not only that, but also Khamenei gave a bloody nose to Israel for the first time. For the first time, we had never seen Muslims being able to Muslims being reached, Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, or Haifa, these towns, and Khamenei's missiles reached there for the first time. So a lot of Muslims are jubilant, a lot of Muslims are happy, and they hail Khamenei as a hero. I understand that, and the reason for that is because Muslims are so furious. It's because they're so helpless against Israel. What Israel is doing in Gaza. So I understand, yeah. And Khamenei is going to take credit for that. And Khamenei will claim victory, and his followers will claim victory, and they would portray him as the leader of the Muslim world. And that's why I'm saying this war was good for Khamenei, actually. Yeah.
My second question is, I asked a question to leader.ir, the Khamenei website, and I asked the question that doing tabarra on the people who did wrong to the
No, he says that's a no-no for Khamenei.
Right,
that's haram for Khamenei.
And he said it is haram right now because today I can show you the screenshot of that question.
It's fine. I understand. I know. You don't have to show it. I understand.
He told me the answer that this is haram right now because right now the unification of Muslim Ummah is an obligatory thing for everyone. So what is your take, like unification of Muslim Ummah? Who started this and why this is so important in their eyes?
So Khamenei,
in Hadith, which is not in Quran.
Khamenei's objective is to be the leader of the entire Muslim world. And he knows for a fact that Shias are a minority in the Muslim world. So with a Shia identity and with proclaiming and insisting on Shia causes, he will never become the leader of the Muslim world. In order to be accepted by the Umaris as the majority of Muslims, as the leader of the Islamic world, he has to give up Shia causes, and he has done exactly that. So for him, it's absolutely understandable why he's saying that, because Umaris will never accept him as a leader until he becomes an Umari.
This unification of Muslim Ummah is not in Quran, not in Hadith. From where they have brought this?
Yeah, I understand. Because that's not important. Because he wants to become the caliph of the entire Muslim world. And that will happen only because he believes in the Sayyid Qutb ideology and Khilafah. At any rate, may Allah bless you, Allah keep you well. Thank you, sir. Okay, area code 647, brother. Go ahead.
Hi, Mr. Allahyari. Assalamu alaikum. It's my
Alaikum salam, brother. How are you?
I'm very honored to be speaking to you, sir.
Sure.
I have two short questions that I want to ask.
Yeah.
I'll try to keep them on topic. My first question is that obviously I live in North America. We have a lot of people from Iran, Persia here, a lot of youth here actually from my school and everywhere, and almost all of them are just against whatever is going on in the way Iran is being governed, especially the regime and everything.
Yeah.
And my question to you, sir, is this one of the signs of like the end times where a place like Iran will have a lot of youth that are against?
Is it a sign of what? You broke up a little bit.
The end times, like, the reappearance of where
we don't know. I don't see in a hadith. I do not see a lot of signs that match the occurrences in our era. Okay, but however, we have several ahadith that Imam alayhi salatu wasalam's conditions of coming will happen very fast, very unexpectedly. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make his coming possible and take away the hurdles for his appearance in one night. So Imam alayhi salam will come when people expect him the least. All right?
I see. And my other question is, sir, is that we know that a lot of the imams are buried in Iraq, but why is Imam Reza in like the border of Iran? Is that a knowledge that's unseen to us, or is there a reason
So
why?
at that time, there were no borders. At that time, when Imam Reza alayhi salam passed away, and he was martyred, and he was buried there were no borders. All of these were parts of the Abbasid Empire. These borders have changed many. These borders, nation states, it came into existence only in the past century, in the 18th and the 19th and 20th century. So these borders were defined later. So, and these borders have different empires, different governments, they've always changed. So sometimes Mashhad was within the empire their capital was in Afghanistan, where their capital was in Central Asia. And many a time it was part of an empire, a kingdom, that their capital would be Isfahan or some other area. So these borders change, okay? Imam Reza alayhi salatu wasalam was martyred in Marv, and he was buried there. Not at that time, there were no borders here.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much.
Okay. Allah bless you. Allah keep you. You have anybody at TikTok, brother? Oh, I don't think we have TikTok.
1 second, sir. No English callers today.
No problem, no problem. Okay, my dear brother. May Allah bless you all. Allah keep you well. That was a good session. I hope we learn from each other. Allahumma salli. Lake, you want to say something? Lake is raising his hand. Says, take me. All right, Lake, I'll take you. No problem, Mr. Lake. What's happening, Lake?
Yeah, everything is fine. You seemed a bit hurry, I think.
I've been here for how long? Over 2 hours, maybe.
Yeah, you usually do programs for 6 hours, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what can I do for you, sir?
Sir, what is the position regarding building a nuclear bomb, atomic bomb in
I
Islamic
answered.
perspective?
Somebody asked
Because
that question, and I answered it. So why don't you, brother, please go back, replay, find that when that question was asked, and replay that, okay?
okay, sir. What about
So
non-Rashid?
it's
You
not
were
something that concerns you, because you can never build one in your basement. So it's not an individual endeavor. It'll be something undertaken by a government, and it's a very difficult thing to
No,
do.
sir.
Yeah.
I just
And
want to know your
these
position.
these governments do not follow Sharia. Okay, so the whole question is wrong. These governments are illegitimate, un-Islamic for their roots. So they cannot be Islamic just in one thing, whether they build a nuclear weapon or not. Okay, when they're your entire existence, everything that you from your root of the foundation of these governments, and the way they function, and the way they treat their people, everything is un-Islamic. How could only one thing? They could follow in one thing, but when it comes to nuclear weapons, they would follow Sharia in Islam? No, they will not. They will do whatever they can, whatever they will make it more powerful. All right?
I was talking about the fatwa of Khamenei on the nuclear
Oh,
weapons.
Khamenei it's fatwa. Everybody knows he's a farce. His fatwa, his fatwa is a joke.
Okay.
Nobody takes, anybody who knows him doesn't take his fatwa seriously. All right? Thank you, may Allah bless you.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
One last question.
Last question. Go ahead.
Hello, sir. Sir, what about your debates regarding non-Rashid? You had big discussion with him.
Oh, we send him dupatta. He needs more dupatta. He's not man enough to face me. You know that, right? Who is he? Who is he? He would never, ever engage in debate with me. Ever. They know what's going to happen to them. Oh, their dilemma, they cannot prove the Islam of Umar. All right, we have a Hafiz. Country code 44. You just wait. I'll take Hafiz and then I'll come back to you. Assalamu alaikum, brother Hafiz.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brother, Sheikh.
Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, my dear brother?
Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala
Very,
Muhammad.
very
Thank you so much for coming here, and
See
thank
you
you
once again.
for enlightening us with your call. MashaAllah.
MashaAllah. I wanted to join actually an adab but I was unable to listen to the input given by you. I'm sure it's going to be very rich and educating as well, and insightful as well. The question we have here is that in the current battling that is happening between the Zionists, the Israel, and also the Iran and what have you, we have been able to reach out to the statements given by Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam that we should never, and we aren't to actually revolt against government.
Yeah.
But what is your answer, Shaykhana, concerning this? Because at the very moment, people might not understand your very position. They might look as if you are together with the, you are siding the Zionists or something.
Well, I explained quite a bit that when it comes to what is the Israelis' actions against Muslims, and they are trying to expand their borders, and they're trying to clear out Gaza from its population so they could take over, and West Bank perhaps the same thing. So I've mentioned time and again that this is not the first time. It has been done throughout history. Since the time of the imams alayhimus salatu wassalam, I think the Shaykh is disconnected. That there have been wars. And there have been wars against Muslim lands by sometimes Western, sometimes Eastern. Non-Muslim forces try to capture Muslim lands. And Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, our holy imams alayhimus salam, have instructed their Shias, do not engage in fighting them. Unless there's a force that's coming to exterminate you and kill you all. In that case, yeah, just do enough to defend them. And if you don't have power to defend yourself, then just migrate, go to an area where you can save your lives. So that would be the instruction of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salatu wasalam on the matter. And I've talked on this issue quite a bit in detail if you go back. So I'm not going to repeat myself. May Allah bless you. Okay, I have a caller from country code 44. Go ahead, brother. UK.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Alaikum salam, brother. May Allah bless you. Who is with me?
My name is Tahir from Manchester.
Tahir, brother Tahir. What's happening?
Alhamdulillah, not too bad. Always a pleasure to speak to you. Always a pleasure to see your face and to see you live and well.
Sure.
Educating all of us. And we
May
learn
Allah
a
bless
lot
you.
from you.
Allah keep you well.
I just wanted to ask you, what's your schedule for the Muharram with regards to Urdu and English programs?
Yeah, I'm thinking about doing my English programs, okay? During the month of Muharram, inshallah. Okay?
And do you have any timings as such so we can monitor?
Probably similar to this program, similar to this time of day.
Okay, sorry, I joined a bit late, so I'm not sure when you actually started.
So we have been here for about 2.5 hours now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you, Sheikh. May Allah
Sure,
give you
my
long
pleasure.
life.
Thank you, sir. May Allah give you life long as well. Okay, Muhammad Baqir, assalamu alaikum.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته شيخنا.
May Allah bless you. Allah keep you well. Thank you for calling, brother. Where are you calling from?
May Allah bless you. May Allah bless you. Please,
Sure.
quickly, my battery maybe may not help me, so my audio very quick. Please, what is your answer to those who say we perfectly agree with you, everything that you said from the sources from Ahl al-Bayt alayhimus salatu wassalam, but the presentation could be misleading because many are going to misunderstand you, saying maybe you are even with the enemy. So what do you say to those people so that they understand?
Oh, I understand. Listen one more time. Listen one more time. I've done a series of lectures on Wilayat al-Faqih, series of lectures on Inqilab, Thawra, revolutions. I think I was quite articulate and expressive about my thoughts today in my lecture. So, and of course, people are going to make clips to make fun of me. That's okay, because what I'm presenting is unpopular. Because I understand Muslims want to engage, not only Muslims, non-Muslims too, want to engage in euphoria and jubilation and festivities, and want to celebrate the defeat of Israel in the war against Iran. And I guess from a secular point of view, nationalistic point of view, they would be right to do so. But from the perspective of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salatu was-salam, that would be unpopular. What I'm presenting, that view of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam would be unpopular. Most Shias would not agree to the instructions of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam on this matter. I understand that. But hey, my job is to be honest and to present that which is true, not that which will make me popular. Okay?
Exactly. Then your work is very difficult. Thank you so much, inshallah. I hope
may God bless you.
Will,
Allah keep you well. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, brother. Now, Ibrahim. Mr. Ibrahim is here. Assalamu alaikum, brother Ibrahim. How are you?
Wa alaikum assalam, alhamdulillah. Can you hear me, brother?
I can hear you very well. Thank you for being here, sir.
Thanks so much. It's really nice to see you after a very long time on the English channel.
Sure. Thank you.
I just had like one very small question. So when you're in travel and you're traveling, so what is the time period to pray Qasr? Is it like 10 days or is it like 15 days? Because in the Umar you hold it's like 15 days.
Oh, 10 days, 10 days. If you are going to stay, hold on. If you're going to stay in some place for 10 days, then you're going to pray less, 10 days or less. Qasr. If you're 10 days or more, then you're going to pray from day one. You're going to pray full.
I see. And if I'm there for like 15 days, I'll pray like
full. From day one, you'll pray full. No, from day one, you'll pray full.
Oh, full
from day
entirely.
one. From day one, yeah. If you arrive in this town, if I arrive, let's say in Toronto, and I know I'm going to stay here 2 weeks, from day one I'll pray full, and I'll fast. But if I don't know, I think I'm going to leave in the 7th day, 8th day, then, or maybe I know I'm going to leave before 10 days, then I'm going to pray Qasr. Okay?
You're going to pray Qasr.
Yeah.
And you just said fasting, so is there like a different hukum in fasting?
No, same thing. If the month of Ramadan, if you're traveling, you cannot fast. So if it's month of Ramadan and you're staying someplace for 10 days or more, then you have to fast. But if you're passing by, if you're staying 1 week, 8 days, 9 days, then you cannot fast.
Cannot fast, or do I have the choice to fast or not?
No, you cannot. It's haram to fast.
Haram. Oh, it's haram to fast. And when is like the distance which starts to suffer, like 77 kilometers, or like what's the
so
distance
if you're a return trip is about return trip is 24 kilometers. Let me look at this up. 24 miles, 16 miles, 24 kilometers. Because hold on, because it's I have to be precise. Okay.
So it's not 77 kilometers like how the Umayyads have it.
No. It's so. What's the hadith say in this regard?
Yeah, I'd appreciate if you can.
Hold on.
All right. Okay.
So, 4 farsakh one way, and 8 farsakh 2 ways. وسائل الشيعة. Okay. إنما وجب التقصير في 8 فراسخ لا أقل من ذلك ولا أكثر. Qasr is an 8 farsakh. How much is a farsakh? I'll tell you now. Farsakh is equivalent with today's measurements. Farsakh al-Shar'i is 3 Shar'i miles. And miles is 4000 ذراع. And the ذراع is 46 centimeters. So let's do that. So let's 4,000. I'll do it for you, okay?
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, 4,000 ذراع. I've done this calculation so many times, but my memory is not good. 4,000 times 46. 46 divided by 1,000. Let me see. My math is a little escaping me. So there's 4,000 ذراع. 4,000 times 46 centimeters. Times 46 centimeters. That's 184,000 centimeters is one mile, shar'i mile. Okay, so that would be 184,000 divided by 100. That is 1,840 meters. So that's 1 mile times 12. Let me see. One moment, please.
Thank you so much for the
hold on. 13 ميلا والأربعة. Yeah, times 12. So 22 kilometers and change. If you're going and coming, it's 22 kilometers and some change. Okay?
So like when we leave Toronto, so 22 kilometers outside the
your
city
house.
of Toronto.
Your house.
Oh, my house?
Yeah.
So what if I'm still in Toronto, like it's a big city, and I'm like 22 kilometers away
So
from
if
my
that's
house,
something you do every day, okay, then it's okay. But if you're going there, if you're going and coming back, that's not something you do every day. If you come back the same day, okay, then of course then you can fast. But if you're not coming back the same day, then you have to break your fast. So a hadith of Mujtahideen say from the town, from outside the town, that's counted. No. Hadith of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salatu wasalam is from your house. A hadith of Ahlul Bayt alayhim wasalam, the journey starts from your house. Okay, from where you live.
So even
so this is not the topic. This is not the topic. So before Ramadan, if I do a lecture on that, I'll explain you in detail. Okay, but this is not our topic right now. Our topic is something else. But
exactly.
The measurement starts from your house. Okay, and the journey ends at your house.
Yeah. My question was for the prayers, basically, not like the fast.
Yeah.
Right.
The prayer is the same thing. Okay.
22 kilometers. Okay.
Okay. You're good?
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. May Allah bless you. Allah keep you well. All right, brothers and sisters. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma kun li waliyaka al-hujjah. Arun is here. Arun, you want to talk? Hold on. What's happening, Arun? Go ahead. Arun. I guess he's not there. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Take care, everybody. May Allah bless you. See you later.